Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be constant rejection erodes my confidence. I would say I got an email here from a viewer who is not doing too well when he's trying to meet ladies. So I've got a quote before I get into his email that I'd like to go through and share with you. It says, if you want to be successful in life, you have to become good at failing and recovering quickly after failure. Drivers who lose control of their car and start spinning tend to look towards the wall, which they fear hitting when they spin out. This literally causes them to steer right into what they are trying to avoid due to their misguided focus. Their action is driven by fear instead of instinct and skill. Instinct and skill come from prior preparation, planning, practice, and repetition. Become okay with failing, learn from your mistakes, and you will be able to quickly recover from setbacks and move forward. Whereas unsuccessful people tend to focus on the failure and what was instead of what could be if they moved on trying a new approach. So let's get into his email here. He says, "Hi, Coach. I'm finding that there is a pattern of failure in all my communication with women. I get girls that are certainly interested in me and in contacting me, but I find when I try to open the conversation up, they go quiet, and it is too many girls to be a coincidence. I'm starting to delay my responses a little to not look too available, but then when they reply quickly, I think the conversation is on and don't want to be rude so as to wait 10 minutes longer than them and send a reply." There's nothing wrong with that. If you're in a conversation going back and forth, that's fine. But if you're out and you're busy and a girl you went out with once or twice texts you, I'd call her back the next day. Why? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And at the end of the day, when you get back to her the next day, in between that time, she's going to be wondering about you, thinking, oh, maybe he's out on a date with another girl. She's not going to know, and those things are going to help your situation at the end of the day. Plus, if you're out with friends or family and you're doing something, you should have other things going in your life. You should have other interests. You should have hobbies. You should have things that you're doing. Maybe it's a business that you're building on the side. The point being is that you should have a busy, active social life instead of sitting around waiting for a girl that you just met to call you. He said, then they go dead. I make a little joke or I say something cheeky, nothing too much, but always the same result. Well, one of the things that I've talked about this in the past is that when you're using texting or emailing or messaging instead of talking where somebody can see your face and your body language, it's very easy to say the wrong thing because you don't know, you can't see her face, you can't see her reaction to what you're saying, whereas if you were in person, you said something, you see her face give you a look that shows that she's not really happy about what you said or she's confused, then you can say something and quickly recover from it. But if you say something in a text, maybe the girl's in a bad mood or maybe she mistook something wrong. You never know. It's so easy, like when you're trying to use humor through text or email, to not say something that's going to piss her off or offend her. And at the end of the day, just like I say in my book, the phone is for setting dates, not giving out information. And this guy here is saying he wants to start joking and going back and forth. There's just simply no reason for that. He says, I'm failing 100% of the time, and this isn't them because that ratio is way too high and they go missing far too quickly. Well, obviously, even though you found out about my work, there's still some things that you're doing to literally talk women out of wanting to hang out and hook up with you. Because you said yourself that some of these women are definitely interested in you. Obviously, if they're reaching out to you and texting you and calling you, and then it goes sideways, then obviously it's something that you're saying and doing in your texting. So he says, I'm confused, frustrated, and willing to change. I just don't know what I'm supposed to change. I'm reading your book, but obviously I haven't grasped the concept fully yet. I will book a paid phone coaching session soon because you'll probably see right through me and what I'm doing to get the same crappy results time after time. This amount of rejection on a constant basis is eroding my self-confidence, as you would expect. Well, you just got to look at it is that obviously your approach is not working. And like I talked about the other day, people tend to see things as either better than they are in life or worse than they are, but very rarely do we see things as they actually are in life. And so I look at this and I think this is great. I think it's great you're getting out there and practicing, and then obviously you're failing, because it's in failing that you learn. And one of the things that Michael Jordan said is he said, the reason I succeed is because I fail over and over. In other words, even when the shot didn't go down, it didn't stop him from taking the next shot. And as a matter of fact, and tonight, or I'm going to go watch Game 3 of the finals between the Heat and the Spurs. And what you'll notice if you watch basketball is the really good shooters, the really great shooters, the really great players. You know, you'll notice, like, first half of the game, like, they're just throwing one basket after another. It's just not going. It's bouncing off the rim. It's popping over the backboard. And what the great players know is just repetition's mother of skill. Keep shooting your shot. It will start to go down. And when it starts to go down, they get in the flow, they get in the rhythm, and you'll notice that, like, most of the shots they take after that go well. And the cool thing about basketball is, like, if one team can get the other team uncomfortable and not be able to play their game, that's what you see. Is you see the team that's losing, they start missing their shots. Even though they might be able to keep up defense-wise, their shots just aren't going in. Why? Because they're out of rhythm. If they're out of rhythm, it means they're not comfortable. And if they're not comfortable, it means that they're not feeling good about the way things are going. Meaning when they're going to a certain, because every player's got his own shot that they're really good at. And so the players in the opposing team, if they know that, they can do things, they can create defensive packages that can cause that player to not be comfortable where he's normally his most comfortable and he makes most of his shots. And you'll see people get double teamed, things like that. It's really fascinating, the psychology of, because I mean at this level, when you get two teams that are in the finals, and you got obviously two good coaches that are good enough to get them there, it's really, you see kind of who the better coach is and which team has an overall better internal psychology, because they're the ones that ultimately end up winning. Because when you're at this level and you're the last two teams in the championship, everybody's got talent. But just because you got talent doesn't mean you're going to win games. And even if you're a good-looking guy, it doesn't mean that you're going to get every girl, because if you still do not handle the phone appropriately when you're trying to set a date, if you don't handle the texting appropriately, you're going to get what this guy is getting here. So simple things that because there's two different ways to go about it. Either A, you've got the girl's phone number and you're trying to set up a date, or B, you do what I like to do, which is set a date right then and there on the spot. That's the best way to go about it. But obviously, the average guy that comes to me, to walk up to a girl and look her right in the eye and just say, "You're amazing. You fucking take my breath away. I want you." Whatever's on your mind. Then you just say, "Hey, I got to run, but I'd love to meet up with you for a drink. When are you free to get together?" And you say that without any pause. There's no hesitation. You're not shimmying back and forth in your body and trying to make up your mind. You're not like rocking back and forth where you look uncertain, or banging the keys in your pants to make the jingling sound, or playing with your cell phone, or it's just something silly that shows that you're nervous. It's like, so when you can say that, it's like, "God, you're amazing. You take my fucking breath away. When are you free to get together?" Something simple as that. It's like, there's no hesitation. There's no doubt. It's just certainty. It's just throwing it out there. And it's easy, obviously, to sit here and watch me talk about these things and listen to me talk about the things I do, or watch other people that have videos where you can actually watch them interacting with women. But at the end of the day, you can watch that shit till you're blue in the face. You can read 1,000 books. But if you ain't out there practicing, you're simply not going to get any better. And especially like this particular case where you're obviously uncomfortable and you're not getting the results you want, obviously you've got something is not working. And so instead of trying to use humor on the phone, and also instead of, like, because it shows more confidence to pick up the phone and call a girl versus texting. I know a lot of people watching this like to text, but when I meet a girl, I'm going to call her. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to hear her voice. Because the difference between her voice and what you can do on text is you can't hear the tone of her voice. You can't hear the voice inflection. You can't really tell what her reaction is to things if you're doing it digitally. I mean, it's just simply impossible. And so that's one thing I would say is, so instead of texting, call the girl up. Say, hey, Jen, this is Corey. How are you? Oh, hey, Corey, how you doing? Or if you call, go, hey, Jen, this is Corey. How are you? Corey, where do I know you from? Think about that. Which girl are you going to have a better date with? Say you got a date with both those girls who reacted that way. Obviously, the one that remembered who you were, you're going to have a much better date with. Why? Because she remembered you. But you just met this girl 2 days before and she doesn't remember who you are or where you met, and you got a reminder of that. Obviously, she's not really that into you. And so you want to make sure you're spending your time with girls who have a high level of interest. So in this particular case, you call, say you got the phone number. That was hard enough, but you got the phone number, and then 2-3 days later, say you got her phone number Friday night, and then you decide you're going to call her on a Monday. Hey, Jen, this is Corey. How are you? Oh, I'm doing great, Corey. It's great to hear from you. Hey, did you have a great weekend? Oh, yeah, I did. It was great. It was awesome. Oh, cool. Well, hey, I want to see when you are free to get together for a drink. And then you got to shut up, and you got to wait for her to respond. Now, I know this is hard the first couple times you're going to do this, because the natural instinct, especially if there's a pause, is to want to say something, is to justify or to rationalize or almost apologize for your interest. That's the worst fucking thing that you can do in the world. And so when you say, hey, when are you free to get together for a drink? When are you free to meet up for a drink? And you shut up, her response is going to tell you everything. Oh, I'm free Wednesday, or I'm free all this week. I'm free Wednesday and Thursday, or I'm really jammed up this week, but I'm definitely free Tuesday and next week. That sounds awesome. How about, I got this great little place around the corner. It's called Houston's, and it's at 123 Oak Street. Oh yeah, I know that place. Great. Why don't we meet there at 8 o'clock on Tuesday? If you get there first, get a table. And if I get there first, I'll get us a table. Does that sound good? Yeah. If something comes up, I got your number. I'll call you. Otherwise, let's just plan on seeing each other at the bar. Does that sound good? Or at the coffee shop, or whatever it happens to be. That sounds great. Awesome. I will see you there. That is how to set a proper, definite date. You don't need to spend 10 minutes on the phone trying to come up with clever anecdotes or trying to make her laugh or any of that fucking bullshit. Because just the way I discussed a second ago, that's all you need to do. And if you're struggling in this area of your life, that is the best approach that you could take. Why? Because the more things you say, the more you talk, and especially if you're taking the texting route because you're too sheepish to call her on the phone. Again, what shows more confidence? Texting a girl or calling her? Definitely calling her, because you're going to hear her voice. The chance of hearing her reject you is going to be a lot scarier than getting rejected through text. But at the end of the day, if you want to look the most masculine, look the most alpha that you can be, picking the phone up and calling is going to work a lot better, especially in the beginning. So my advice to you would be to change your approach based on that. Stop texting girls. That's okay once you've been dating for a long time or you've been dating for a while, but not when you first meet, because you want to make a good impression. You want the girl, you want her to have the same good, confident impression of you that she got when you met. Like if you meet and you seem kind of confident when you met, but then you start sending her texts and you're kind of timid and you're trying to crack jokes back and forth, it's awkward, and you're just going to end up talking to the girl right out of going out on a date with you. And so if you would modify your approach with just those things, call a girl on the phone, just say your name, don't tell her where you met and all those things. Why? The reason you do that is because if you just say your name and she remembers you, that means she's got high interest because she remembered you. If you just say your name and she doesn't remember you, and you've got a reminder of where, you're going to have to work a lot harder to keep the conversation going, and that date is not going to be as fun as opposed to going out with a girl. It's like, oh, hey, I'm so glad you called. I thought maybe you lost my number or something. I was really hoping you'd get in touch with me. I mean, think about that. You hear that kind of a response. That's the kind of response you want from a girl. Then you know, hey, I got to fucking lie when this girl's really into me. So your time and your money spent on a date, buying a cup of coffee, having drinks, or going to dinner, wherever the hell it happens to be, is going to be money well spent. So if you have a problem or a situation or a challenge that you'd like to get my help with personally, go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a phone session. I'll talk to you soon.